This morning is former Senator Tom Daschle. He is currently serving as a commissioner on the Bipartisan Commission on Biodefense. Good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning, Larry and Robin. Good to be with you.
Well, before we talk to you about your bipartisan commission, let's talk a little politics and talk about the midterms coming up soon. And we seem to have seen a switch from the beginning of the summer toward the fall and in how things are leaning. What's your take on how things are shaping up?
Well, what really impresses me so far is that we've seen over 10 million people who've already voted. That's an indication of how much interest there is, probably on both sides of the aisle and in all parts of the country. So I'm encouraged with the broad participation. This is a vigorous debate across the board on a number of issues, and I think it's going to be an exciting 2 weeks before the election results come in.
Inflation has emerged as a dominant issue, and it's a global one. So is there something that anyone at the federal level can do about inflation if Republicans were to take over, as normally happens at a midterm? Do they have a plan that you've heard?
That's a great question, Larry. I think the essence of any good democracy is compromise. Compromise is the oxygen of democracy. And what we're going to need to do, in spite of all the polarization in this country, in spite of the confrontation and the terrific acerbic debates that are going on all over, we need to come together as a country and address inflation, address the challenges we're facing across the board. People have to come together to work these things out.
When you were in the Senate, you co-presided over one of the first evenly divided Senates, and it seemed like everyone seemed to work together more back a few years ago. And unless there's a misconception, everyone seems so polarized now. Where do you see both parties going?
Well, I'm concerned, frankly, that the far right and the far left have really taken the parties in a direction that I don't think is very conducive for good governance. I have the good fortune to work with 3 Republican leaders that I respect a great deal and consider friends, Bob Dole, Trent Lott, and Bill Frist. And I just hope that the leadership can help lead the way here and demonstrate a commitment to try to address the nation's problems. I was just traveling the last several days across the country, and I'm telling you, there's a real yearning in the part of all of America to see our country begin to heal and address these challenges a lot more effectively going forward.
This country seemed ill-prepared for the pandemic, and one expert told us that is because it's a tough political sell to say we need all these tax dollars just in case something happens. Do you agree with that assessment, and how is your commission changing this mindset?
Larry, I do agree with that. We experience and then we forget. I've seen too many of those occasions over the years, and that's really what this biodefense strategy is all about. To recognize that we can't forget, that we've got to be prepared. We know there's an inevitability to either another pandemic or a terrorist attack, and we're not ready. We need the resources, we need the commitment, we need the plan, and that's really what this biodefense strategy is all about.
All right, former Senator Tom Daschle, we thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.